Hello friends, I am Swapnil Purani and welcome to my channel Swapna Studies. Friends, in the previous video, we started a lecture series and the topic was economic slowdown in India. We discussed many basic concepts regarding economic slowdown. We discussed what is the exact meaning of economic slowdown. We discussed the deflation and deflationary cycle. I hope you have seen the previous video, and if you haven't, you can check it here. The topic of today's lecture is the features of economic slowdown in India. Before moving ahead, let us revise some basic concepts. And the first concept is deflation. Deflation is the rate of fall in general price levels in the economy. Next concept is deflationary cycle. It is a cycle created by deflation. For example, if there is a fall in price level in the economy, the businesses and industries will face loss. Many more industries will bankrupt, and the situation of bankruptcy will arise. And because of bankruptcies, the unemployment level will rise. And because of higher unemployment, the income of the people will fall. And when the income levels of the people fall, they demand less. And because of fall in demand, the price level again falls. In such a manner, this deflationary cycle progresses. Next concept is economic cycle. Every economy progresses in a cycle. And there are many phases in an economic cycle. For example, slump, recession, depression, recovery, and boom. For example, there is slump in an economy, and slump means fall in general price levels. If slump continues for 3 or more quarters, then it results into recession. If recession continues for 2 to 3 years, then it results into depression. If depression continues for longer time, then it results into Great Depression. After any of these phases, if economy improves, then it results in the recovery. After recovery, if economic growth progresses and if there is high growth and high inflation, then it is called as economic boom. In such a manner, economic cycle progresses. I hope you have understood all these basic concepts. Okay, let's proceed with the video. It is important to understand one thing here. What is the difference between slowdown and recession? Sometimes both the slowdown and recession are considered the same and used synonymously. But we need to understand that there is a difference between the two. During an economic slowdown, the pace of economic growth is slow. But during recession, the economic growth becomes negative. In a slowdown, there is economic growth and GDP also increases. But the pace of growth is slow. And during recession, the GDP decreases as the production of goods and services decreases. Now we are going to discuss the types of economic slowdown. The first type is cyclical slowdown. In the previous video, we talked about economic cycle. The economic cycle progresses in this manner: slump, recession, depression, recovery, and then boom. When the slowdown in any economy is a logical step according to this cycle, then it is called a cyclical slowdown. Economists believe that it is common in the economy to have a cyclical slowdown. Such slowdown comes and goes, but the second type of economic slowdown is more dangerous. The another type of slowdown is a structural slowdown. There may be several reasons behind the structural slowdown. The main reason is a big flaw in the structure of the economy. It depends on various issues such as what kind of the economy is. Is it an open economy or a closed economy? Is it a capitalist economy or socialist economy? In case of an open economy, the economy is open for imports as well as exports. All the factors of production such as men, money, machinery, material, etc. can be imported as well as exported also. But in case of closed economy, the imports and exports are not allowed. Factors of production cannot be imported and factors of production cannot be exported as well. In a capitalist economy, all the important decisions are taken by the capitalists. What to produce, in what quantity to produce, and at what prices the produce must be sold. All such decisions are taken by the capitalists. But in case of socialist economy, all the important decisions are taken by the state or the government. What to produce, in what quantity to produce, and how to distribute the produce in the entire population, all such important decisions are taken by the state. Which sector is playing the main role in the economy? The primary sector, the secondary sector, or the tertiary sector? This is also an important issue. I have an important question for all of you. You must have heard about the primary, secondary, and tertiary sectors of the economy. So, which industries come under the primary, secondary, and tertiary sector? You have to write your answer in the comment section. So, let us see how many people can answer this question. Another issue is the problem of resources. The availability and allocation of resources in any economy are very important for economic growth. Economic, financial, natural, and human resources, if allocated equally and judicially, can lead to balanced economic growth. Otherwise, a situation of unbalanced economic growth may arise in the country. In our country, states like Maharashtra, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala are very developed. And some other states like Rajasthan, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, and Odisha are less developed. This is a perfect case of unbalanced economic growth. The policy framework within the country is also an important structural aspect. In this case, two concepts are very important. One aspect is policy paralysis. When a government is made up of coalition of several parties, they are often unable to take tough decisions. Many policies cannot be decided by the government, and even if the policies are formed, they are not implemented in the desired manner. We can call this situation as a policy paralysis. Ever since the era of coalition government has started, the problem of policy paralysis can be seen in every government. Policy uncertainty is the next important issue in the policy choices. In this situation, the government fails to implement any one policy. It repeatedly changes the policy. The government keeps on bringing new rules and laws. This leads to uncertainty in the economy. And hence, businessmen and investors get demoralized and shy away from investing in the economy. How is the labor market regulated in the economy? How labor laws balance the interests of workers and capitalists? All such things are counted in the structural choices of the economy. Whether there is equilibrium in the demand and supply in the market. Is the state of savings and investment complementary to the economic growth or not? These issues are equally important for keeping up the pace of economic growth. And due to these reasons, the structural slowdown is very serious. Unless there are structural reforms in the economy, this type of slowdown continues. And for the obvious reasons, it lasts longer. The reason for this is simple. Bringing structural reforms in the economy is very risky and difficult. Governments often shy away from making such decisions. These kinds of decisions are not always popular, and the government that takes such difficult decisions has to face public anger in the election. So far, there are very few prime ministers who have been able to take such difficult decisions. Friends, can you mention the names of prime ministers who have taken such difficult decisions? Please write your answer in the comment box. Now the most important question is, what kind of economic recession is going on in India today? Experts say that both types of economic recession are going on in India today. That means both the cyclical and the structural slowdown. The recession, according to the economic cycle, is natural, but today a severe structural slowdown can be seen in India. The biggest issue is dwindling demand. In the last few years in our country, demand has come down very fast. According to the recent Nobel laureate Abhijit Banerjee, ever since the Modi government came to power in 2014, the demand in the country has steadily decreased. Giving the reason for a decrease in demand, he holds demonetization and GST reforms responsible. Due to both of these decisions, there was a huge liquidity crunch in the country, due to which demand started decreasing. As a result, unemployment is also increasing. And in such a situation, public disappointment has spread. They have reduced demand due to the fear and uncertainties of the future. And friends, you know what happens when demand falls. Yes, we have seen it in the previous video that situation of deflation arises due to fall in demand and state of recession is kick-started in the economy. Friends, the relative share of public and private sectors and their role is also important in an economy. Even today, the government sector in our country is very wide. Even today, the government companies are dominant in many areas. A large part of the country's internal savings come from these companies, and the same savings are invested very ineffectively by the government sector. Friends, the public sector banks constitute about 40% of the entire banking sector. And the public sector banks also allocate debt to the economy in very ineffective manner. The allocation of capital in terms of loans is done very inefficiently and illogically by these public sector banks. The labor laws of our country are much stricter than the developed countries and many other developing countries. Our economy is a mixed economy in which both the capitalist and socialist models are used. But the socialist perspective is much stronger in our policy formulation. And that's why the interests of the workers are comparatively given more importance in our labor laws. Due to this, highly paid formal employment cannot be generated in our country. Businesses and investors promote unorganized employment by adopting several loopholes hidden in the law. Due to this, both employment generation and economic development are hindered. Due to many such reasons, there is a situation of deep economic recession in India. The IMF believes that the Great Economic Depression, similar to that of 1929, can be seen in the near future of the world economy. And it can also have an impact on the Indian economy. A British investment bank named Barclays has made a forecast for India. According to them, the rate of economic growth in India in 2020 can also be 0%. Indian rupee is at the historic low as compared to the US dollars. All such things indicate an economic crisis in our country. Friends, you have now understood how serious the case of economic recession is. That is why this issue is also very important from the exam point of view. I hope you understand these issues. So friends, in this manner, we discussed the features of today's economic slowdown in India. I hope you understood all the concepts very well. If you have any doubt, you can write them in the comment section. If you have liked the video, you can share it with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed the channel yet, please subscribe the channel and click on the bell icon so that you will get all the notifications of upcoming videos. Thank you.